Hey everybody, we live in a fascinating time when most people will not believe really the truth no matter what, unless it came out of someone's mouth on the mainstream media or on television or somewhere where we consider it to be verifiable. Something that, maybe could be a friend. Maybe it's the friend down the street that knows everything. We're like, hey, it's Bob. Bob's got a good handle on the economy. We should listen to him. One of the biggest challenges we have in real estate right now is that there is an epic shift going on. And I don't know if it's an election year. I don't know if it's the nature of the media kind of rooting for the home team at whatever the home team is. But something is not being reported and it's kind of pushed under the rug. And even when it is reported, it's carried under weird guises and weird pretenses. So here's what I want to talk to you about. You have 2024, which is abysmally looking very, very bad for homeowners. If you have a house in the market in the US anywhere, you're facing more competition and you're facing less buyers than even last year. And that's saying something because in 2023, remember, we barely sold over 4 million homes, a number so low we have not set that since 1995. Now here we are, we're heading into July, August timeframe, really the end of most market cycles in the US. I mean, we're halfway through the year. The back half of the year really is back to school and a bunch of holidays that really distracts buyers. And you have to understand, we just set one of the worst records for a summer selling season, but yet it's not getting carried in the media. And you know what? Buyers know. Buyers are saying, you know what? We get it. We're out. But sellers are, on the other hand, have no idea that this is happening. And honestly, why is it this way? Well, because it's not being reported that way. Look at like 2023. Okay, so during 2023, we were putting up a very weak sell-off in the existing home market through that year. I just told you it was like a 30-year low. And keep in mind, 30 years ago, when we were selling that few homes, we had 25% less population than we do now. So when you consider the fact that all of last year, when things were down and things weren't great, you know what the media was saying? And economy on, CNBC, the Repundents and everybody else that were reporting this, they were always saying that it was a lack of inventory. It's a lack of inventory. They never said sell-off is bad because people don't want to pay the price. They never said the sell-off was bad because unaffordability was raging and was a massive problem for people. But the reality is that can no longer be the narrative. The idea that we don't have enough inventory is now switched. So now all you hear is it's the interest rate. It's 7% interest rates. Well, we had 7% interest rates last year, but the narrative was about something else. Okay, so now we want it to be about interest rates. Well, I can tell you this, we're now going towards upper 6% interest rates and the news is not changing much. But why is this the case? Well, we're not listening to the buyer. And I am telling you, I'm going to show you some data here in a minute, particularly in the state of Florida, where you are about to see an epic sign like never before that this is going to be a chilly winter. And I say that as a lot of the marketplaces throughout the country, they're all seeing their sales collapse. There are no buyers. The buyers are very few. And ultimately, the buyers we have, most of that movement is in the ultimate luxury or luxury end where people still have money. But the rest of the market, the low end and the mid-range, which is incredibly important, the whole economy of real estate is a ladder. If you don't have people getting onto the bottom to push everybody up, then you stop having movement across the entire market. We so far, at least in Florida, have seen largely the upper end still going well and the lower end was still going well in 2023. But now we've seen the low and the middle ranges all seeing high inventory growth with buyers just backing away. But the warning signs are there. We're getting the numbers. We're hearing from people. Look at this report here. This is actually from Fannie Mae, which they do a housing index, like a survey of sorts. They do it regularly. It's been a longstanding report that they put out. 80% of Americans think it's a bad time to buy a house. Okay, now this isn't surprising. You can see on a month in, month out basis that on buyer sentiment, this red line just stays high, okay? And ultimately, we see that playing out in the economy. Well, on the other side of this, let's read what the article says about the sellers. Home sellers remain optimistic, contrasting home buyers' woes. An increasing number think it's now a good time to sell. Okay, I'm going to prove to you how badly misguided that is, at least in Florida, because you are seeing just record levels. We have major metros in Florida. Might I add, major metros that back in 2007 to 2012 in the great financial collapse, these marketplaces were absolutely decimated. 50% falling price in a very short amount of time. Some cases, like in Cape Coral, you had marketplaces there they were like top of the entire country in terms of price collapse. So we're seeing a lot of a return to inventory levels that we have not seen in 12 years, folks. And so here again, why is this important? You have sellers in all these marketplaces in Florida that are just like, what is this, Smurfs? It's the Smurf land. La, 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 la. And they don't understand that the buyers have left the building, okay? We've had this long season of time where we've been used to hero moves on selling. You could put a house in the market and it's going to get, multiple offers and wave appraisals. And Florida felt it longer than just through 3% interest rates. They felt it even at 5% and 7%. And some tales are still told throughout different marketplaces. And so sellers have not gotten the picture. Now, why have the sellers not gotten the picture? Because they're not actually understanding how quickly it's changing. So take a look at this. Let's delve into that, okay? Well, according to Wolf Street right here, it's and they got an aggregate of a bunch of data I'm going to show you from National Association of Realtors, but it says home sales sag further, hit by mortgage rates. That's the common, right? Home prices and price cuts and active listings surge, okay? Now, listen to me, everybody. What is a worse combination when buyers back away is that active listings surge. Now, this weekend on Sunday, you are not going to believe, I'm covering 5 marketplaces, largely most of the Gulf markets, but the largest markets on the Gulf side that are worth tracking, they are seeing insane inventory growth. Now, mind you, I'm covering Lakeland as well, and particularly because you have to understand at the very top of the list on the most recent foreclosure data, the foreclosure starts for the entire country. A company called Adam covers that. And I happen to notice that at the top 10 list, number 1 was out of Florida, which I'm covering them on Sunday, and their market is absolutely tipping over. Jacksonville's in the top 10 for foreclosure starts, and so is Orlando, Florida. But look at this. This, my friends, is the problem. You have listings surging and buyers on this is your seasonally adjusted existing home sales. You can see last year, okay, look where the cursor is. Last year, we had this jump in the early part of the year and it just fell flat. Look at this. This year in January, we didn't even match the year prior. We are obviously trailing and having a hard time in 2024 selling the amount of homes that we sold last year. But what's the problem? Well, the problem is across the country, depending on which metric you look at, we're 20 to 30% more listings. In Florida, it's way higher than that. We have marketplaces I'm going to show you on Sunday afternoon. When that update comes out, you're going to see 80, 90, 100% increase in inventory. In some of the markets in Florida, they were already getting buried last year and they're up 80, 90, 100% this year, which obviously, what does that precipitate? Precipitates in dropping price. Now look at this, my friends. Reventure Consulting. If you guys know Nick, give him a shout out on that. A lot of you always ask me, where do you get your data? I'm a paying member of Nick's product here. And if anybody knows Nick, tell him to start carrying closed sales. He needs to put closings on here. He needs to put pendings on this particular tool as well. But this is what I want to show you. Take a look at this. If I gloss over the entire US, what do you see, right? You see red, blue, you see a mixture, right? You see that? No matter where I scroll over the country, you see a balance of color. But let's go down to Florida, and what do you see? It has a cold. It's all blue. Now, you would say, Jared, hopefully that blue is a good thing. Yeah, you would be mistaken. Because the reason why Florida is blue, the metric that you're seeing on screen, is this is how sellers are setting asking prices right now in the current market. Now, the reason why the entire state is blue, the reason why Miami down here is down almost 12% is because sellers in these areas, these are the metropolitan statistical areas, the government zone metros. The reason why you see the state blue, and it's almost monolithic, it's the whole state, is because we are seeing sellers who have their wits about them going, oh, there's a ton of inventory here. They figured it out, right? And the professionals are telling them too. But you have this situation where you have sellers coming to the market. And this, my friends, this is what happens when a marketplace can't set prices as high as they did a year prior. Okay. So all of this, you see Miami down 11%. You see Naples down over 11%. You see Northport, Sarasota down 9%. Besides Miami, Orlando's down over 3%. Now, listen to me on this, okay? This is a forward indicator, a leading indicator. When all the people in June are basically not advancing price, in fact, they're going well under. This is the median, by the way. So this is a dead even. This is a very clean number to understand what is your future price going to be set 2 or 3 months from now when these listings go under contract and in all likelihood at lower prices than they started at. I mean, most people are going to be negotiating even lower, okay? So this, my friends, okay, you say, well, Jared, I see some light colors down here in the middle. Yeah, because no one lives in those areas. I mean, I don't even know. These places are swamp filled. The county you see here that's actually up 16%, I didn't even know if anybody lives there. I mean, it could be rural, and everybody's going to go in the comments about that. But the point I'm making is look at this. Let me show you what's going on. Okay, so this is Orlando market. Look at the Orlando market right here. You can see this across here is the 0 line, okay? This means that anything above this line on a given month, month after month, they get flagged. Are they over the line? Are they positive? Are they setting prices above the same month prior year? Or are they going below? But look at this. Look at what's happened now in the past 4 or 5 months in Orlando. Look at the trend, straight down. Look how many times we've actually been below the 0 line going back to 2017. Folks, month after month, like clockwork, you can see this massive mountain, which was COVID. This was when we locked our state down back here in COVID. This was the only time we went down below 0, except for back here in 2018. But most of the time, sellers in these markets are positive. Check out Miami. Look at this, straight down. Miami has a chilly fall coming. And finally, I mean, this has been setting records all across the country. Miami's had no reprieve. And by the way, a couple weeks ago, I did a full deep dive on exactly how Miami, Orlando, Tampa's doing. You could find that 2 Sundays ago as I'm printing this. But this weekend, I'm actually going to cover a lot of data. I'm going to go over Fort Walton Beach, Pensacola, all the way down. Tampa, again, was on the 2 weeks ago video, but I did Northport, Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, Naples, all through the middle. The point is that there is a huge, huge disconnect. The sellers that know are saying, hey, you know what? Let's not mess around. This is a shifting market. This is a market that is going to set numbers that we have not seen since the first time we had rates pop in 2022. And that was a very chilly fall. There was a big pullback in price. And this, my friends, I'm telling you can see the state. Like every major market, sellers are pulling back on price in a way that we have not seen in 8 or 9 years. I mean, you saw the history of data. It's just plummeting overnight. So the thing is, obviously, this is a leading indicator. And we've had a week, this past week, where everybody's sitting here hoping and praying for interest rate cuts. You know, we have all these pundits come out on Thursday when we had the CPI release. And thinking back on the week, Jerome Powell was in front of Congress. Jerome Powell was pelted with questions. And he said, you know what? You need to understand high interest rates are good for future home buyers. He told Congress this. Higher for longer is good for future home buyers. That's what Jerome Powell said on Tuesday. Nobody's reporting that. But why would higher for longer interest rates be better for future home buyers? You saw the chart. You saw the chart. The higher for longer creates higher unsold inventory, which creates more desperate sellers. And then ultimately what you have is prices coming down. When prices adjust, and ultimately, there's no help coming from interest rates, price is the only way these will move. And so, we had the CPI come out on Thursday, the index showing that inflation has found 2 months of recovery, right? So inflation has been red hot, starting this year. We have like 2 months of stability, and all of a sudden, everybody on Thursday, I was watching CNBC and everybody else. Oh, you know what? Oh, it's price cuts. Oh, the interest rates are coming down. He's got to, it's no longer, inflation's not a problem anymore, and he's gonna crash unemployment if we're gonna have serious layoffs if he keeps this up. And Jerome Powell made it very clear that he's concerned for prices. He's not concerned if people lose their jobs. He's concerned with things being too expensive still. He made it so clear. He had the senators overtime kept pelting him. When are you going to reduce rates? And he said, I am in control of the demand. And he wants it dialed down. He made it clear. It was interesting. And the sad part is, Friday, as I'm shooting this live, we had the producer price showing high inflation again, meaning the inputs, which is what comes out the other side on the CPI, leads, the leading indicator rather, the things, the supplies, the cost that people have to the business owners, the things they have to purchase is still, it's going up. So what are they not gonna raise prices to adjust for the cost of their goods going up? Oh yeah, I'm sure they're just gonna thin out their margins and take it on the chin. No, we're gonna have inflation still. We're gonna have problems. And ultimately, right now, you'd say, Jared, what about the foreclosures? Foreclosures are still really low. But I'm telling you right now, the actual unemployment rate that's climbing as we're seeing it, that's going to shake out to even more listings. Okay? And I am telling you, when you see some of the markets on Sunday throughout Florida, the inventory it's like, I look at active inventory graph and I jokingly say it's sponsored by SpaceX, because if you look at active inventory charts through many of the metro areas in Florida, it's straight vertical. And some of the markets are as high as they've ever been in 13 years, like going towards great financial collapse type levels. Okay. And here's the deal. And sellers are not calculating this. Everybody looks at supply alone. That's all they look at. They look at how many homes there's not enough homes on the market yet. We need way more homes than this. Well, number one, you've got the houses, at least in Florida. The houses are there. There is a big number of homes for sale, but nobody's looking at the demand side. So everybody's looking for trouble just by how many homes are on the market. But I am telling you, it is super underreported how poorly buyers are playing ball right now. And ultimately, I'm just telling you, in many markets around Florida, sellers that are playing little games, they're gonna learn hard way. Mess around and find out is what happens. And I say that not being funny. Like, I'm just saying, prepare yourself and have a good plan, because the market is a little less forgiving, and sellers, their optimism in their head, they come to the market, and my point is, they're expecting someone, I bet someone's going to come and just dream and pay $100,000 extra. I bet you I'm going to double what the last guy made in my own neighborhood. Hero move days aren't here anymore. Okay. So sellers don't understand that. And that's the point. It's like, okay, this is changing. Okay. You want to test for the hero move and see if it's out there. Most people, they do not understand that the buyer sentiment is so far away from that market, at least in Florida. And it's changing through a lot of markets in the country. Again, watch your own data and see what happens. That's it for now. Let me know what you're seeing in the neighborhoods around you, and we'll see